Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to the vinyl tag of 2020. Now I've watched two of these already and they're both different vinyl tags. So one was by Vinyl Richie and the other one was by Ron Haggerty. I'm going to do the one that Ron Haggerty did because I can actually answer all the questions in it. So I'm not too sure which one is the proper one, but hell, I'll do this one anyway. Okay, starting off, best find of 2019. Well, I'm going to split this in two and show two finds. The best album I bought, or the one I was most excited about, was Nick Lowe's At My Age, because I've been looking this for ages and it was finally re-released in America and I had to order this from America and I finally got it, and that completes my Nick Lowe collection. Out in the wild, my best find was an original Voodoo Lounge by the Rolling Stones. I found this about a month and a half ago in our local record shop, and it was a half decent price as well. Favourite album of 2019, and that would have to be Father of the Bride by Vampire Weekend. It's their fourth album and again it's excellent. Double LP. I have this in CD as well for the car. Fantastic album. Question 3, a novelty record. I'll show this one. I've had this in the collection for so long. The World of Benny Hill, who was a British comedian. Slightly politically incorrect comedian, but very, very funny. I don't know how I acquired this. I've had it for years. I must have found it in a second-hand shop and picked it up for next to nothing. I think I played it only once. So, The World of Benny Hill. An album that pays homage to another. Now I'm going to do a single rather than an album, and this is the single. This is the T-Rex single, The Groover, and most of the T-Rex singles of around this time look exactly the same label, same sleeve. But this here is a promo single by Morrissey in 1992, and this is Certain People I Know. And he actually steals the riff of Ride a White Swan for this. So put the two of them together and you can see one pays homage to the other. And it was great to get. Which one? Alright, this one here. I bought this at the time. I had to order this mail order, no internet or anything. So yeah, Morrissey's Certain People I Know. B-side or deep cut. Funny enough, I mentioned this on a comment on James Griffith's video last night, and I'm going to say Inside and Out by Genesis is the third track on their Spot the Pigeon EP. The lead-off track is Match the Day, which is a decent enough little pop song. But Inside and Out is an absolutely excellent song, which I think would have sat beautifully on the Wind and Wuthering album. It's as good as anything on that album, so that's my B-side. Okay, something funky. Now this one's very, very difficult because I don't have that much funky stuff. So I thought I would pick this. It's not really funky, it's more dancey, and that's the best of Kool and the Gang. And they are the exception to the rule. I love these guys in the 80s. I just love their singles. This has got Celebration on it, Ladies Night, Get Down on It, Ooh La La, Let's Go Dancing. Straight Ahead, my favourite song. It's just a really, really good dancey, slight funk album. They were more funky, I believe, in the very early 70s. I think these guys actually released their first album in '69, and they're a completely different beast to what they turned out to be in the 1980s. But this is Kool and the Gang, number 6. Number 7, Weird Shelf Life Buddies, and I suppose this could be funky as well, and that's Stevie Wonder, and this is Music of the Mind. And that sits proudly alongside, yeah, here we go again, it's the Wombles. So Stevie Wonder and the Wombles are the Weird Shelf Life Buddies. I Was There, a band I've seen live. I'm going to pick an actual solo singer who was part of a band, but I've seen him solo, and that's Roger McGuinn. I saw him live in 1987, or was it 88? I think it was one of the two. He was supporting Bob Dylan. He was actually the first act on. Then Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers came on, and then Bob Dylan came on, and this guy came on just with an acoustic guitar. And to be honest, I thought it was the best set. I enjoyed it the most. So that's Roger McGuinn. Seen him live. And this is his Back to Rio album. This is one of those albums where the old stars made a comeback in the late 80s, and this is a very, very good album. Very Tom Petty-ish, but excellent. Okay, I wish I had an original. Now, I could go for the expense and pick, say, an early Bowie one, like Man Who Sold the World and the Dress Cover, or the first album, or even the early Tyrannosaurus Rex albums. But I thought I'd pick an album that I can get an original quite easily on Discogs, but I just won't pull the trigger because I feel as if I'm buying for buying's sake. And this is the first McCartney album. Now this pressing here is very late 80s, it's possibly 1990, and it's on that horrible white and black Parlophone label. I would actually like to have had this on the original Apple label, but I don't. But still, it's a good nick, and the sleeve is still in very, very good nick, and I just don't see, I think it's a waste of money maybe looking out for the original, but part of me is always not quite satisfied with this. I always wanted the original, so that's McCartney. Okay, discography I own. Well, the artist I have the most of is David Bowie, and I record all my music on a database. Well, it's actually a spreadsheet, an Excel document, and I've worked out for LP records. I've got 91 albums. Okay, there's doubles there, triples, and even quadruples. 7-inch singles, including the picture discs, I've got 171. 10 and 12-inch singles, I've got 44. CDs, I've got 131. CD singles, I've got 25. And I have no cassettes, but I do have cassette singles, and I have got a grand total of 1, which is the Tin Machine one, which was given to me free at the last record show I went to. Okay, unique center. Okay, this one here, the center label, Sometime in New York City by John Lennon and Yoko Ono. And the reason I like this, I just think this is so cool, and it has, I just love the way that John Lennon turns into Yoko Ono and Yoko Ono turns into John Lennon. I just think this is a fantastic label. The album itself is actually not bad. It's a bit political and of its time, and there's some songs I'm not too keen on about the Irish, but it's also got We're All Water, which is my favourite Yoko Ono song, and it's actually my favourite song on the whole album. So that's my favourite unique centre label. Pre-band album. Now I'm going to have to cheat and show a CD for this, and this is Lika, and this is Bjorn Ulvaeus and Benny Andersson, and this is the album they released just before they released the Ring Ring album, which was credited to these two along with Agneta and Frida, and obviously they turned into ABBA. So this is like, I think this is from 1970, and this is all in Swedish. So this is the pre-band album, the pre-fame album. Okay, musical book, movie I would recommend. I'm going to show a book here, and this is the one I really love, and this is the Sparks book. It's Talent is an Asset, the story of the Sparks, of Sparks, sorry, not the Sparks. And this goes through the making of all their albums, and up to 2009, 2010. I got this in 2011, and unfortunately it was the time that my mother passed away, and I got it that Christmas, and it helped actually reading this to take my mind off things. And fantastic book, love it. So that's Sparks. Okay, underrated album. I'm going to go with this one here. and that's the final cut by Pink Floyd. I think this is an absolutely fantastic record. It is a little bit dated of the time, as it's about the war, the Falklands War, and there is a lot of references to Maggie in this, but I think this is really strong, and this is a reissue, and it's got When the Tigers Broke Free on it, which enhances the album. Yeah, a lot of people think this is a Roger Waters solo album, and fair enough, it could be, but it still sounds really good. So the Pink Floyd, The Final Cut. Batting average, a band or artist that consistently has good albums, and I'm going to go with this guy here. This is Graham Parker. This is from 1995, and this is 12 Haunted Episodes. He hasn't had a bad album. He's had lesser albums, but they've all been very enjoyable. I think his worst album is one called Acid Bubblegum that came after this. But consistently strong songs, excellent songwriter, and that's why I would actually prefer this guy over Elvis Costello, because he's more consistent through and through. So that's number 15. 16, same album, different cover. This is Bow Wow Wow, See Jungle, Go Join Your Gang, yeah, City All Over, Go Ape Crazy. I can never get it in one go. And this is the second issue of this album, and there's the back cover there. And the reason why this is the first issue, which was deemed quite unsuitable, and that's the back cover there, and it's a cracking album from 1981. Okay, cheap album you bought that is worth a bit of money now. I got this for £5 last year, and it's The Who Sell Out, and it's an original mono pressing from 1967. It has got a little scuff at the start of side one, and the rest of it plays perfectly. So for £5, this was well worth picking up. It's hard to say how much it's worth now. You see fair copies going for £20–25, so you're talking this would be 30 to 40 quid anyway, so a good investment, let's say that. So £5 this cost me. Favourite drummer, oh right, this is a really tough one. I'm not going to talk about who I think is the best drummer, but my favourite drummer, because I think she's not a great drummer, but she gets away with it and she's effective, and I think I'm going to go with Meg out of the White Stripes. Why not? It just goes to show you don't have to be a fantastic musician to create good music, and her drumming is simple but it works. And yeah, she's also quite cute as well, so she's going to get it. So she's my favourite drummer. I was nearly going to pick Karen Carpenter there, who is actually a really good drummer, believe it or not, but we'll go with Meg. Album turning 20 in 2020, and this is a recent one again that I bought, and this is Ecstasy by Lou Reed, and this is absolutely magnificent. This is my top 3 Lou Reed albums. I think this is only behind Berlin and Transformer. Yeah, it's a double album. I didn't like this when it came out in 2000, and it took me a long time, but this was a record store day of this year, and this is the one I wanted the most. And if this is all I picked up on record store day, which it wasn't, I would have been happy. So Lou Reed's Ecstasy from 2000. And finally, a trilogy of albums with a common thread. Oh, that was tough as well, but I'm going to pick these 3 here, and they're all concept albums, and they don't really get the credit they deserve from this band. The earlier albums do, but these are the early 70s ones, and I'm going to go with Kinks. And this is Muswell Hillbillies from 1971, which I think is a magnificent LP. And then in 72 they released Everybody's in Showbiz, Everybody's a Star, which is also a great album. And then in 73 they released Preservation Act 1. So the RCA years were all really concept albums, and they then signed in 1976 a contract with Arista where they went all stadium rock, but the music wasn't as good. Okay, so that's the vinyl tag for 2020. I wouldn't have done this, but I've just found out that I'm not working tonight, so I'm actually in day shift for the rest of the week, so I have some time in my hands rather than sleeping my head off. So I thought I'd give this one a shot. So all remains for me to say is a happy new year to everybody, and it's coming up to my first year doing these videos. I think 3 weeks time I'll have been doing them for a full year, so I'll try and think of something special for that. If not, I might just lie low. Okay, so all the best now, and I'll see you quite soon. All the best. Bye bye.